Hey, what's up, everybody? Welcome back to a special edition of Friday Night on a Sunday, the service industry podcast. And we call it that because for many of us in the service industry, Friday night happens for us on a Sunday. I'm really excited tonight because I have a special guest, friend and fellow chef Walt Ramsey is joining me. And Chef Walt reached out to me a week or two ago about helping out with our annual holiday whiskey pairing dinner. And I said, you know what, man, if you're going to help me cook it, I think you should help me plan the menu. So tonight's podcast is in real time us planning together the menu for the holiday whiskey pairing dinner at Vagabond Kitchen on December 27th. I hope you enjoy it. I hope you enjoy the back and forth. And we had some fun blank moments too. We're like, what was that called or whatever. This is truly non-edited what it's like to go through and come up with a menu. So hopefully you enjoy it and you think it's a cool behind the scenes peek. Thank you so much for joining us and look forward to doing some new episodes for you guys here soon. All right, enjoy. It's awesome to see you, man. How you doing?
Yeah, and I'm awesome. It's good to see you too, bro. We don't do this enough, man.
No, that's for sure. None of us do. All we do is
Yeah,
fucking work.
that's it. That's it. All the time, And I was talking about it today, right? Because I cut out a little early, and I said, "Man, I'm really excited to like just help and just do something that I don't have to do
Yeah,
all the time."
yeah, for
I
sure.
miss that part.
I get it. That's what I love about special events too, is it gives me a chance to cook a little bit, to play around with menus. But honestly, I've written so many event menus in the past couple of years. I'm a little fried, so I'm excited to have someone to bounce off of and throw some ideas around.
Yeah, man, for sure. I mean, I'm rusty as shit, but I mean,
Well, we'll knock the dust off.
yeah, hell yeah.
So we still have a spot for one more whiskey. I kind of tend to do the holiday one as like a few of my favorite things as my guiding principle.
Okay.
So I tend to do stuff that I really like, but I've been talking with Ty Bullock at this Bullock distillery down in Charleston,
Okay.
and they're super cool. They get all of their water from a karst limestone spring in Greenbrier County.
Yeah,
And
I did. I saw that whenever we were, you shared the original whiskey list with me, and I saw that and I said, man, that's awesome. So,
yeah, yeah, and then they get their grains locally grown in West Virginia too. So I really like the idea of doing something to highlight them. And then like my go-to is Buffalo Trace. Like I just love Buffalo Trace so hardcore, and it's really hard to get these days, like we were talking about in text. So I thought, hey, like let's treat people, give them a chance to get some of that.
yeah, for sure.
And I've been holding on to this Middleton Very Rare for about a year now. I think it's like a 200 and some dollar bottle of whiskey, so definitely higher end. Something usually I'd pair that with the entree. And then I've also been hoarding this bottle of Kraken coffee rum,
Okay.
and it's so stupid good. It's like coffee syrup. It's extremely delicious. So I thought, you know what, I can't hold on to this forever. What if we broke that out and kind of messed with the format a little bit? Did that over a couple light rocks at the end to go with the dessert. So we've got space for one more. Considering the price point of all of these, I would probably do like a lower to middle range price point on the last whiskey, and we can figure that out, or we can, throw it to the wolves, whatever.
Well, I'm looking here. I'm trying to think what would be gettable, kind of lower end and like not low, you know what I'm saying? Like
Yeah, sure.
lower price point.
Yeah, like a $20 to $40 bottle would be good. Even something like Knob Creek. I always threaten to throw Old Granddad onto things, and I feel like that's a very drinkable whiskey, but sometimes I get made fun of for that.
Well, are we talking about OGD 114? Are we talking about bottled and bond? What are we talking
Bottled
about
and
here?
bond, bottled and
That's
bond.
good. That's a good pour though.
Hey man, I think I like it, and that's all that matters.
That's it, and I think a lot of times whenever people start talking about whiskey, and they forget that those opinions are subjective, those tastes are
Right,
subjective. It's
right.
like right now, like I'm drinking on this RD1, it's Amberana wood finished, right?
Ooh,
And Amberana has like taken over the whiskey world, right?
Mm-hmm.
Um, but it tastes like to me. You remember like King's Restaurant, like
Mm-hmm.
from like the Pittsburgh area,
Yeah, yeah.
that kind of leaked into the valley. They had that sweet cinnamon ice cream. Do you remember that?
Oh, I think so. We actually just did a brown sugar and cinnamon dusted vanilla ice cream, and maybe it was from a memory of that.
So to me, when you drink this, yeah, I get like a warm oatmeal cream pie
Mm-hmm.
with that cinnamon ice cream, that
Nice.
King's Family Restaurant cinnamon ice cream on top, and it's phenomenal,
Yeah, yeah.
right? And it's kind of the thing, but there's a lot of people that don't like it, and that's what I'm saying. It's that subjective piece. Um,
Well, warm oatmeal cream pie sounds like a delicious dessert. We can
yeah,
always
right.
kick that rum off of there and do that for dessert. I wouldn't be sad about that at all.
Yeah, but that's a $70 bottle,
Yeah.
so I mean that doesn't fit into that $40 price point that you're talking about.
Yeah, that's true.
I've got more stuff upstairs, but like I like the Knob Creek. I mean, you can never go wrong with Knob Creek. You know what? No, no, no. You know what? Put the old granddad on there.
All right. You want
Let's
to do
work.
that as our opener?
Yeah, let's do it.
All right.
Listen, that, you get to do stuff like this and like make it personal and give it your thing. You know what I'm saying? And I don't know how many times I've seen you post pictures or whatever with your Miller Genuine Draft or
Yeah.
your High Life,
Yeah.
right? Your High
The
Life
West Virginia handshake.
and your old granddad. So man, hell with it. Let's just get after it.
Well, okay, cool. Then if we're gonna do that, maybe we'll serve it in a coffee mug.
Yeah.
Do the
Yeah.
old granddad in a coffee mug. A couple years back, I did the old granddad. I did the West Virginia handshake as the first course. I think 2 years ago, Christmas time was our first whiskey dinner, and that was one of the West Virginia handshake is what I call the high life and the old granddad, and that was our first course. But I also like serving extremely personal whiskeys in a coffee mug or a teacup. I tend to like to drink out of my tin cup, but something a little
That's
bit different.
like for me, man, like I always I'm I get a bunch of shit all the time because like I'll use like a plastic cup or whatever. Like I went proper tonight and busted out the Glen Cairn. You know what I
That's
mean? But
nice.
like
Yeah.
I will I generally use like a solo cup or my favorite really is a rocks glass though to
Yeah.
kind of just enjoy my whiskey from for
Well, that's
whatever
what I like
reason.
about this. It's got a deep, wide mouth, and it's just indestructible. So I've carried this all over the country with me.
Yeah, and that's one of those things too. You know what I'm saying? Like that, man. That's awesome. That's awesome.
All right, so let's do that. So we'll do Granddad Bonded, the Bullock, their standard bourbon. Then we got the Buffalo Trace, the Middleton Very Rare, and wrapping her up with the Kraken coffee.
Yeah, I'm into that.
And
So it
I've
sounds like a good flow too. You know.
Yeah, yeah, I think it will be. I've got no notes on anything except for the Buffalo Trace. I've got it really stuck in my head to do like a chicken and waffle kind of thing with that. But we do chicken and waffles every week on our brunch menu, and I want to switch it up a little bit. So this is
Okay.
what I was working on before we got together tonight. Uh, I'm thinking of stuffing a breast, breading it and frying it, putting it over top of a buckwheat waffle
Okay.
with like a chipotle vanilla whipped buttermilk cream.
Okay.
And
I'm into that.
for stuffing it, I was thinking like a toasted almond something, like a little toasted almond, maybe some herbs or something to hold that together.
What if we so it's funny that you immediately went to the chicken and waffle thing, right? Because
Yeah.
I was kind of like that was kind of where I was at on something, and I was like, yeah, but he does that a lot.
Yeah.
But when I was across the river over there on the island, one thing that we did was with our chicken and waffles was we did the reverse of what you would think it was, right? So we had a savory waffle and it was like rosemary and some thyme,
Mm-hmm.
and some other herbs. And then we did the chicken and we had an airline chicken breast that we did, and uh we would do it in like French toast batter. You know what
Mm-hmm.
I'm saying? With
Mm-hmm.
like little bit of vanilla, a little bit of cinnamon, stuff
Right,
like
right.
that, and that's how we would do it. Um,
Yeah.
so then we had the sweet and savory, but it was just backwards,
Right,
right?
right.
So I think maybe like a little bit of rosemary in in your little compound there. I think that might actually tie that together the way that you're looking for it to be.
Yeah.
It'll give you a nice little punch, but I don't think it's going to overpower anything.
What do you think about putting some maple syrup in, do toasted almonds, but then doing like a candied and maple syrup, and rosemary wouldn't be horrible on that either.
No, I think that's definitely the way to go. You've got to get a little bit of that sweet in there. Yeah, yeah, yeah.
That's
See,
that's a whole lot. That's a lot of components. I try to usually keep things a little more simple, but I really like how that's going to flow.
well, I mean, and if anything, that'll just be the nuts and bolts of it, right?
Right,
Like that
right.
that'll be the biggest piece of the puzzle, But
So we can do that as a course, and usually, I kind of keep in mind like your typical multi-course meal flow, but I lean really heavy towards more of a tapas style dinner, for especially for these tasting pairings. So we don't have to necessarily do or not do soup, salad, fish, meat, that kind of stuff.
okay, okay, yeah. And listen, like when we were texting, I said, man, we'll do whatever. It's your show, it's your flow. I'm here to help, here to get with you and do some work together, man, because it's
Yeah, yeah.
long overdue.
Sorry, I was just getting a call from a buddy of mine in Chicago. Let me text him back real quick.
Oh, no problems, no worries.
So yeah. So what do we want to start off with? Old granddad.
Hmm. Well, I'm looking here. It's the tasting notes are it's got a butter and oil taste. Sounds weird, but it's good.
Mm-hmm.
Sugar cane, tobacco, dark chocolate, with a light finish, dark chocolate, sweet and bitter finish. See, I don't get chocolate whenever I have that. Like to me,
No.
it's a little more nutty,
Mm-hmm.
like almost like a walnut nutty, right? Like I don't get the chocolate.
Yeah.
I could see the tobacco here,
I think it would go really well with some sort of a fritter.
ooh, you some kind of fritter. What if got me rolling there? So are we talking sweet fritter? We talking savory fritter?
Well, more savory. Excuse me. More on the savory side of things, I think. Um, my first thought, and this is why I'm experiencing a little menu fatigue. We do a corn fritter that's really banging, with a maple chipotle mayo on it. That was my first thought, but I don't want to do that. I want to do something different. Zucchini fritters, something even more. We could lean into more of like a hash, and fry it up, shallow fry.
Okay.
But some, it's this more of this will be a lighter course, and I think the fat in frying something would cut through that kind of punch that bonded granddad has.
Yeah. Yeah.
But I'm open
Uh
to suggestions too, bud.
um I'm not I'm with you on the savory fritter. So you said you do a corn fritter on the menu all the time?
Oh, often, yeah.
Often, okay. So like damn, zucchini would work, but I'm concerned that like the zucchini's gonna get lost, right?
Right.
Because that's a
What
light
about
it's
go
a
ahead.
light flavor, you know what I mean? And when you take this the first smell on the granddad, it punches you right in the face. You know what I'm
Mm-hmm.
saying? And I, it's kind of that if it's not something that you've drank often or had before, it might be a little overbearing for somebody, and I'm
Mm-hmm.
concerned that the zucchini will get lost
Right.
in everything that's going on in the old granddad. Um,
What if we played with sweet and savory and like butternut squash?
Ooh, I could get behind that. We could roast that butternut squash, get a real nice roast on it,
Yeah.
get some olive oil and like some herbs and stuff and get it
Right.
in there real good. Maybe even grill it before we roast it. You get a
Yeah.
little char on it.
Yeah.
I think that would probably hold up, you know.
Well, we could roast it till it's almost a puree, and then think of something that complements it. And the butternut squash could be the glue to hold a fritter together with something else, like almost like a potato cake.
Yeah. Um fritter. See, this is how rusty I am. You know what I'm saying? I'm just like steak and potatoes these days, pal. And there's no thinking involved in what I got to do these days.
All good.
So if we're gonna go with the butternut squash, we talk about grill and roast and bringing it all the way, almost all the way down. What if we throw a little like apple in there?
Oh, apple's not a bad idea. You think a sweet or sour apple?
I think we're gonna have to go
Sweet.
with a sweet,
Yeah.
like a Red Delicious or like a
Okay.
Fiji.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. That's pretty cool.
And then maybe even like give that a little old granddad treatment. Let that marinate in a little old granddad for 30, 40 minutes, and then incorporate that into our fritter smush. You know what I mean?
Yeah, that's a super cool idea.
Like a fine Brenois,
Yeah. Yeah.
And I think that would work out really well.
So
And it
we
would
end up
kind
with
of,
something we can kind of scoop out and
yes,
plop onto the griddle, and
yes,
it'll come together. It'll come together with a nice hard shell, nice hard crisp outside, but it'll be creamy and soft on the inside. We'll have the texture difference between the butternut and the apple.
yeah,
I like it.
I think that's going to work out really, really well. And then too, like you said, it's something that we could just put together in like one big batch, and
Right.
it's just scoop and go.
Well, and that's the other cool thing about this event is we only sell tables or seats around the bar, so we're maxed at 18. So it's not like we've got to do 600 of these things.
Well, that's cool too. See, I wanted to come to this last year, and for whatever reason, the bottom fell out on my end. But I love that you do these things. You know what I mean? And like you're out here and you are a true member of that Ohio Valley up there, pal. And they are
just trying to push some boundaries.
They are thankful they should be thankful to have you. Listen, it's not about pushing boundaries, pal. You know what I'm saying? It's about doing what you do best.
Yeah, for sure, man. Well, you think what if we did some sort of a cream cheese topping on that, or like a savory cream cheese almost, or sour? We could introduce the sour element in the cream cheese.
Yeah, or I mean, what if we do something like Marsco? No, that's not right. What's the other white stuff?
Oh, you thinking ricotta?
Yes, that might work.
That's a cool idea.
That's not what I was thinking, but the other piece, the other part that people put in their lasagna, I can never remember what it's called. Damn it. I'm looking real dumb right now.
Well, it's all right. I can't think of it either. I don't make lasagna that much. What else do we put in that? The chunky, creamy white stuff.
Well, that's the what the hell?
It's
It starts
ricotta,
with an M. I know it starts with an M.
That's not mascarpone?
Maybe it is Is it mascarpone?
I don't know, man. That's why the internet exists.
Man, what the hell?
And this is what it's like building a menu.
Yep.
100%. Lasagna recipe.
It is mascarpone.
Is it? Okay.
Yes.
Because mascarpone is one of those things. It's neutral enough. It can go savory or sweet.
Right. And it's got that little bit of sour to it.
Yeah.
That
right. Almost a sour cream, but
yes.
It's cheesy, so it's got more of a nutty thing going on.
Right. And it's got a much more rich texture than the sour cream.
Yeah.
So I mean, I think that might be a component that
I like it.
We could use on that.
Mascarpone. I'll just put whipped mascarpone for now, but we should find we need to find something to add into that. You know what
Yeah,
I mean?
it definitely is going to need to be fortified on top of that.
Mm-hmm.
Um, I'll keep thinking on that one.
Mascarpone is how it's spelled. Shows you what
Yes,
I need, know what I know. Mascarpone. It's a weird word, really, if you break it down.
yes. Well, very Italian.
Right. Well, let's come back to that and talk about this Bullock bourbon, which I have not tasted yet.
Okay,
So we might have to look up tasting notes on it.
and that's the one with that's the high rye we were talking about.
Right.
I started to look into it, like I said, and then I looked at the whole thing with the karst water, the
Yeah.
limestone water, and I was like, man, that's really cool because that's how a lot of those places down in Kentucky work. You know what I mean? Have you
Yeah.
ever been to the Maker's Mark distillery? Have you ever gotten
No.
to go and do any of those things?
No, I haven't.
The Maker's Mark is so cool, right? And like, I'm not a giant fan of their stuff. I like their cask strength, and then um, their cask strength 46 is really really good. And then some of these license plate whiskeys that they've been releasing have been really really good.
Oh
Like
yeah.
the BEP0002134 or whatever the hell it
It
is.
does sound like a license plate.
Um, those are really good. But the layout, I've been to Buffalo Trace too. I've been to Jim Beam, but like Maker's Mark's like a all the way out into the middle of nowhere, and it just appears just out of the woods, right? Like trees,
Uh-huh.
and it just appears. But they've got the limestone stream that runs right into their property, and it just runs right into a building and just disappears.
Mm-hmm.
And so like it's coming off in the way that they built the distillery. It's just into the hillside and into the landscape right there, and it's really really cool. Um, so I really I was really kind of excited to see that. Hey, this is a West Virginia bourbon that's got limestone water in it, and
Yeah.
I'm here.
Well, and it's
Let's get
all
after
about the
that.
water, man. I mean, that's everything. So I'm not it's I think they're too new and to really have tasting notes anywhere. Um, but they must have done something that came up in my search. It's a totally unrelated thing, but it's burnt orange. So this is also how coming menus coming together works. So what I saw was burnt orange bourbon price. What my brain did was burnt orange rice. And I thought that sounds cool. That
I'm
sounds like
into
something
that.
I'd want to eat.
I'm
Yeah,
into
that sounds
that.
like something I would really want to eat. Uh so if we did a burnt orange rice, like we could almost do if we want to
Okay,
do
okay.
risotto.
Check me out. Check
Yeah.
me out. Listen, what if we, what if for the burnt orange rice, right? What if we flash fry the rice
Mm-hmm.
and give it like the crunchy texture?
Yeah.
Okay, and maybe do an orange marmalade or something and reduce that down,
Mm-hmm.
and kind of give it a little coating. You
Like
know what I'm
almost
saying?
so it turns into almost like a rice porridge.
Yes.
Okay.
I mean that's one way to go. I mean, what were you gonna say?
I was trying to decide like, do we want to go risotto direction or like wild rice or um well, when you saute the mirepoix in there with it, and I'm spacing on the name of that too. You know what? Like when you,
Pilaf?
yeah, exactly. But I like the idea of doing almost like a rice put. Well, it wouldn't really be rice pudding, but if we used like a cooked down orange marmalade to pull that rice together.
Yeah. It could almost be like a rice cake.
Oh, we could do that. Yeah.
I mean, that's the only way that I can see that working, right? My way, like frying that, giving it that little crunchy and making it with that. I don't know. I mean, you could probably doesn't have to be that way, right? Like,
I don't know. Rice cake sounds cool. I'm just not sure how to get there. You know, talk to me a little bit more about that.
so if we if we do the if we flash fry the rice and we expand the grain, right?
Mm-hmm.
And then we take um our marmalade or orange marmalade little mixture thing, right? And we kind of just smush it all together, kind of like making a Rice Krispie treat almost, you know.
Yeah.
Um, I don't know. We might be able to even like sear that off, right?
Okay.
Put a nice little extra thing on it.
Mm-hmm.
Um, I don't know, circle mold. Would you be able to would be able to do that with a circle mold?
We probably
Um,
could, but it sounds a lot. It sounds too similar to the butternut
yes,
apple fritter.
yes, and that's
It's
kind of where like I was starting to go away from. So I mean, maybe risotto.
a burnt orange rice risotto. I think that could work out, and that would be pretty cool. We could probably still. I don't think we want to hit it over the head like too hard with the orange. But we could add a little marmalade into it and to fortify those flavors, and then burn some orange peel to zest in there or something like that. Um,
We could almost torch an orange, the outside of the orange, right, and just kind of zest that on
yeah.
top of it as a garnish.
Oh yeah, that's true.
You
That's
know,
true.
so
Yeah.
we that would definitely be something that would help with that, I think. Um, but so if we're gonna do, I mean, we don't have to go the orange marmalade route. Like that just to me seems like an easy thing. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
And from the
Yeah.
standpoint of, I'm sure that you have plenty of access to fresh orange marmalade from one of your friends,
I'm sure. Yeah.
one of your West Virginia folks to help out with that. I mean, that's just kind of where my brain has been since we started kind of talking about this, is like,
Yeah.
because I know that like, you're big into your Appalachian cuisine and like
Right.
all that stuff, so I've been really trying to think along your lines, as well as mine, because one thing about me is like I just try it. If it doesn't work, I try something else. You know
Right.
what I mean?
Right.
And that I've just always
Well,
kind of been that way.
yeah, I try to build the menu so that there's enough flexibility, that inspiration in the middle of things can still work, and you're not like too chained to anything.
Right.
And you can change little simple things without violating the contract of the menu. Um, but yeah, I think there's something there to work with, and we can always come back and fine tune this stuff. Um, I'm thinking that would be really good with a pork element to go with it.
Okay. Okay.
Um, and I'm not
So
sure what
what
pulled
if
pork or I think fat goes really well in these dishes because of the punch of the whiskey, like a little something
yes.
to tone it down and coat the palate is nice. Um, and I don't want to give them too much, so like we don't want to do a full size pork chop or anything like that.
What if we
Um,
do what if we do some pork belly?
there you go. Yeah, yeah, that sounds real nice. That sounds real damn nice.
I mean, it doesn't have to be anything crazy. It can just be like some pork belly croutons. You know what I'm saying? Like
Uh-huh. Yeah.
just some cracklings from it,
Right, right. Yep. Um,
and that gives you everything that you're looking for. That gives you
does.
that fatty content.
Yep.
And I
Yep.
mean, you can make that as crispy as you want, or as medium rare as you want, as I always say.
Yeah.
And I mean, it goes both ways, right?
Yeah. Yeah, that's a great idea.
But I think we would
Um,
almost have to go crispy on it, just
yes.
because to offset the texture of the risotto.
Yeah, I already have crispy written down. It's got to be crispy. I'm trying to think if we want to go full on candied, because again, like if we're going to use maple in the chicken, I don't want to overuse maple too much. But it definitely needs to be crispy. And like I do love Appalachian things, but I also love updating Appalachian things, and with burnt orange rice, a crispy like Szechuan pork belly or something like that.
Ooh,
I think that could be really cool.
okay. Now I'm into that. Give it a little sweet and spicy
Yeah, yeah,
aspect. I'm into that. Uh, I think that there's legs there.
yeah. Okay. Cool, cool, cool. Well, that's good shit. And I try to put a sauce on everything. Um, but it's going to be kind of have a sauce, so I don't want to overwhelm it. But I don't know. I don't have any ideas about that right now. Do you want to come back to that, or you got anything?
You have a do you have a whipped cream thing?
Charger?
Yeah.
Oof, somewhere. I don't know. I don't know where, and I don't know if it still works.
I was
Do you
gonna
have
say,
access
well,
to one?
no. Why don't we? Because I was gonna say, what about a foam?
Foam could be cool. My chef's got really into spherification too. He was
Oh, it's
doing
so
that for a
much
little
fun.
while. We
It's
still have some agar, I think.
so much fun.
Yeah. Yeah, I've never messed with foam. I always make jokes about squirrel foam, but I've never actually done it.
Let me see. I'm trying to remember because I did it a couple of times, and it's like you really got to make like your water mixture, and it's like thick, and then you really just got to hit it with the immersion blender like
Yeah.
fucking crazy, and then you scoop the foam off the top of it. You actually stick it in the freezer for a little bit,
Okay.
and that helps kind of keep it together. Um,
That's a cool idea. I would be into playing with that.
I mean, we can table that. We can maybe work a little bit more towards that, but I think there's something there because, like you said, you don't want to overwhelm the risotto with the sauce because you're already going to have
Right.
that
And the pork belly is
consistency,
going to be crisped in a sauce.
right?
Yeah.
So I think that really from that expectation of putting a sauce on everything, something light like a foam or like a whip, some sort of
Yeah.
whip, I believe will allow you give us the opportunity to hit that garnish, that burnt orange garnish on,
Right.
right?
Right.
And still it'll add that the extra look as well as the extra flavor piece that we're going to be looking for.
Yeah. 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 I like it. So then we'd have the buffalo trace, which I think we got nailed. And then I'm looking up Middleton rare, very rare. And this stuff is still in the white box I bought it. I never even busted it out yet. It looks like it comes in a really sexy wooden box.
Oh yeah.
Um, it's an Irish whiskey.
It is an Irish whiskey, and
Yeah.
like so this is coming right before the dessert, right?
This would be the quote unquote entree.
Okay. Okay.
But this I would make this the star of the show. If we were going to do a beef or something big, it would probably be with to pair with this. Although let's see what it wants to be paired with. I don't know. This looks really good. I might not want to share this.
It does look really good, bro. Rich fruit, orange wood, tons of complexity.
Also, here's an idea too, just to throw out. Um, March 23, I always do our Irish whiskey pairing dinner in March. The low hanging fruit, right?
Absolutely.
But I got a bottle of Redbreast 27.
Oh,
And I didn't even charge it. I just charged enough to cover the cost of that bottle. And instead of doing a dish with it, I literally sent out a B&B plate with dried apricot, candied walnuts. Like I hit all the notes on that plate, and I really coached the people through. Take a little bite of this, take a little sip. Take a little bite of this, take a little sip. So with these really expensive, really really nice ones, I'm not afraid to go that direction too. I mean, no one's going to leave here hungry, so we could pull out specific notes and do a little tasting plate.
I mean that was it's funny that you actually brought that up because I was first looking through the whiskey list, right? And I brought this up because I knew that it was hard to find. And it's one of those things, right? So do you have the 2022 release? Is that what you have?
Probably, I would imagine.
So, that was really when I saw it was an Irish, I said, oh man, like we could do like something with the fig because anytime I drink like a quality Irish whiskey, I the first thing I pull out is that fig note,
Right.
right? Like, and I think that's got something to do with the pot still. Um, it has to because I get it in every single Irish whiskey that I've ever had, except for like let's get drunk Irish whiskeys
Oh
and
yeah, yeah. Car bombs, right?
yeah, yeah,
Yeah,
yeah.
yeah. No, I'm too old for that.
Yeah, I don't have that
Uh,
in me anymore. I don't have that dog in me anymore, bro. You know?
let me throw this out there: fig glazed duck breast.
Okay. You got my attention, like instantly got my attention.
I
So
don't. Go ahead.
uh that makes all the marks, right? Like that hits
Mm-hmm.
all the marks because you've got your fatty food, right?
Yep.
It's got and that duck is just going to be automatically just nothing but extra grease and
Right.
deliciousness to
Right.
cut through that. And I'm into that.
I like that a lot. Yeah, and we get we. How about we put that shit on Coal Cannon?
Yeah.
Okay.
Go all in. I mean, you know what I'm saying? You got two Irish guys here.
Yeah.
Let's just go all in. I mean,
Well, we just did. Every year I get to do a Wagyu dinner with a VIP client, and he's a great guy. He lets me play a lot, but he really likes the basics like meat and potatoes. So it actually creates a really interesting challenge for me because I'm like, okay, how do I take meat and potatoes and make it like a little more interesting? Last year I did, so we get filet mignon, and Wagyu filet is the holy grail of meats. Typically I'm more of a ribeye guy, but with Wagyu, filet is unbelievable. The fattier cuts on a Wagyu are almost too much to me. Like a Wagyu ribeye would, it's like I could just eat sticks of butter. It's just a
yeah.
little overpowering.
See,
It's delicious, but
I'm a New York strip guy, so like, I'm because to me that New York strip's got just everything that I want. You know what
yeah,
I'm saying? Like a good
yeah,
chew. Like I want to know I'm eating a steak, but
right.
I've never had Wagyu filet. But I've seen like pictures of it, like how like marbled it is, and
Oh,
just
dude,
how
it's
gorgeous it
unbelievable.
is.
Yeah.
I'm like, man, one
Well,
day
I'll
I'm
have to
gonna
have you
give you
come
one of
help out
them.
with one of those too, man, and we'll save one back. So I think last year I did. I was actually really proud of my menu last year because I don't remember everything, but I know I did this cream of mushroom soup. So the cream had the fat in it, and the mushroom had the umami. And I was talking to the patrons or the guests before the meal, and I'm talking to them about how this cream of mushroom soup is going to really prepare your palate for this Wagyu, and like this Wagyu beef is the holy grail of steaks. And one of them laughed at me, and I pointed at her and I said, "I'm fucking serious." And after the whole meal, I came out and she was like, "Oh my god, I can't even believe." Like, yeah, I was like, "Yeah, no, there's a lot of work and planning and like intention that goes into this stuff." And I remember we had an appetizer, we did the cream mushroom soup, then we did a salad to with a tart dressing to be like a palate cleanser, and then we did the Wagyu filet over like a French mashed potato, like a really buttery, really creamy piped mashed potato, and with some seared off asparagus, right?
Okay.
It was solid.
Oh, guaranteed.
This year though, I was like, okay, I don't want to recreate the same menu. I'm still got to deal with this star of the center plate, the filet mignon. And I put it on a kale coal cannon, and the texture of in the coal cannon, like there was also green onions in that, which I threw in at the very end, so they were still crisp. And the steamed kale, and I feel like there was something else we had in there. And then I had dollop of that on the plate, and then the filet, and then just a little like half teaspoon of horseradish on top, which hit really nice wasabi notes as well.
Yeah.
It was baller. I was very proud of
Hey, you know what? It sounds delicious. Like I'm into all of that.
it.
I'm into all of that.
So anyway, I got Cold Cannon on the brain. But I
No,
think if
I think you got to go all in on it.
yeah, yeah, I think a fig glazed duck breast, so you get that sticky, sweet, caramelized, like you bite into that, and I think we're gonna hit all the right notes with that. We'll glaze the duck breast, roast them so they're nice and crispy on the outside. We'll give them like 3 or 4 slices on top of a fanned over on top of a nice cup mound of cold cannon with kale and the green onions in it, and who knows what else. I think that would be pretty solid.
Yeah, that's gonna be sweet. Like I'm looking forward to that one already.
Yeah,
Like, you know what I mean? Like that. I think the fig, and I mean, if we wanted to, we could even add a little acid to that. Maybe
I'm thinking the sauce maybe.
like a fig balsamic.
Oh fuck yeah. Yes, I like a balsamic, either a fig balsamic glaze, or we put balsamic in a sauce, like do a balsamic reduction over top of it as the sauce. And what I'm reading here for tasting notes, it's woody, right? So we got fresh mint, which I'm not a big fan of mint personally. Loose tea, dried flowers. Um, I'm trying to think of like a warm spice we could add to a balsamic reduction.
Allspice.
Yeah,
I mean, it'll give you that, that I hate to sound so generic, but the baking spices, right?
right.
Like
Like
it,
pumpkin pie
yeah,
spice.
like it'll
Yeah,
give you that. It'll give you that little bit of cinnamon, and a little bit of like that. Damn it. But I think allspice definitely has a home
yeah,
in this, right?
yeah.
And two, you were talking about the woody piece. What if, what if we smoke the coal cannon before we fan just add a little smoke essence to the coal cannon?
We could do that. We got a smoker in the house.
I mean, do you think I'm reaching on that?
No, I like that. Or we could smoke the duck, then glaze it and bring it up to temp in a convection oven.
Are we going to get the crisp that we're looking for on the skin?
Yeah, I think if we smoke it first and then glaze it and fire it in a convection oven at a high heat, I think we can.
I'm in.
Okay.
But I do. I think that to touch on that woody piece. So,
Yeah. I wouldn't
I
be ashamed to put some cinnamon in that either, man.
yeah,
That spice, I'm going to call it spice balsamic reduction, but for our notes, be thinking allspice, pumpkin spice, cinnamon, those warm, wintry spices, almost like a mulled wine sort of thing.
yes, like give that little bit of just
Yeah.
kind of warms your cockles. You know what I
Right.
mean?
Right. Exactly.
Um, yeah,
That sounds killer.
yeah. Because
All right.
I think that we really need to incorporate that woody piece. Like that barrel influence. We need to get
Mm-hmm.
that in there somehow. I'm
Yeah.
thinking apple wood.
Yeah. We could also, I've got cedar planks in house. We could char cedar and serve this on charred cedar.
Yeah,
Yeah.
and then that'll give that um it'll activate a couple, it'll really activate your sense of smell too,
Right.
and it might help us, help you be a little more in tune to what's happening on the palate.
Yeah. 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 I
um
like that a lot, actually.
yeah,
Hell yeah. Cool. All right. We're going to run through everything again, but let's move on to the final course, the Kraken coffee. Like I said, and I cannot emphasize this enough, it is like coffee syrup. It's like how Plato wrote about the pure forms of things, and like there's a pure form for a tree and there's a pure form for a human and all this stuff. Well, Kraken coffee rum is like a pure form of coffee. And I don't put cream and sugar. I don't use training wheels when I drink coffee, but this stuff is amazing and it's stupidly good. Don't drink 2 bottles in one sitting. It ends up into a really bad day.
That sounds like a terrible idea,
It
Bub.
feels amazing in the moment.
It sounds like a terrible idea.
Yeah, well, I have a lot of those.
But didn't we just talked about that though, didn't
Yeah,
we?
yeah.
Like, ah,
I think the last time we were together was a terrible idea.
whew.
I have blurry pictures of us in the basement of Morgantown Brewing Company.
Yes, yes. It was a good night, bro.
Mm-hmm. That was a lot of fun.
It
That
was a
was a
real
ton of
good
fun.
night. I was glad you decided to come down and do that. I was on your ass about it too for a long time. And you're just like, I don't know, man. I'm like, listen, you gotta capitalize, like
Mm-hmm.
I'm just being
Yeah, for
selfish. I
sure.
just wanted to hang out with you.
Hell yeah, man. I'm well always happy for the excuse.
Yeah, no doubt. It was good, man. It was awesome.
All right,
Um,
so we've got a very stacked menu. The whiskeys are on point. The dishes are complex. There's a lot going on. We don't want to beat people up too much. I feel like the final course is almost like a you did good, bud. Like
yeah.
well done. Um, and I just got back from my honeymoon in Paris, so like I wouldn't be upset at like a straight up like croissant or some bullshit. Like we could be simple. We don't every course doesn't have to be super complex. It can be. I'm not saying we don't
No,
have
yeah. But listen, I'm into that, right?
or coffee cake.
Oh,
Like a simple
yeah.
coffee cake, or if I hadn't already pulled out my Chipotle vanilla pairing, which I do love to do, I have a Chipotle vanilla bread pudding that would go great with that Kraken coffee rum. But if we do that, we're going to need to change up the Buffalo Trace pairing with the Chipotle vanilla with buttermilk cream, which is totally doable.
Yeah, it is totally doable. I mean, so I think that we're at the point where the question has to be asked either or which course would you rather see that I don't have a problem with the I'm going to use my dumb Americano, the croissant. I
Yeah,
don't have a problem in any way, shape, or form. Just a buttery,
yeah,
flaky,
right.
delicious croissant, like with a and if we wanted to be extra, and I don't know what you have at your disposal, but you could use like little espresso cups for the,
Oh yeah, that'd be
uh,
cool.
you know what I mean?
Oh
Like,
shit, dude! I think I actually do have some espresso cups in my basement. I'm
so,
gonna have to look. I'm gonna have to look. I think I do.
and just, I mean, it just circles back, right? It's just meat and potatoes, man. Like, just simple but effective.
Yeah,
But I think that's definitely got to be on the table.
yeah, I like that a lot.
But I can't bake a boxed cake, so like I'm out. You know what I mean?
I don't know. I think I going back to that Buffalo Trace course, toasted rosemary and maple almond stuffed fried chicken over buckwheat waffles with chipotle vanilla whipped buttermilk cream. That is a lot. Man, that's a lot of verbs.
Yep.
Adjectives. I think if we pulled the chipotle vanilla out of that and did a chipotle vanilla bread pudding for our dessert, that would be just fine.
Because I feel like the the Chipotle vanilla will it strike that, reverse it. I think that chicken and waffles course is going to be just fine without the
Right.
Chipotle vanilla. Like I don't think that changes anything at all with that. I think the only reason that you really I think you were married to that idea was just because of the just basic flat bourbon tasting notes that Buffalo Trace carries, right? Like
Yeah. Yeah.
vanilla, caramel, the oak influence. I think that dish is going to be just fine
You know
without
what I want to do?
what's that?
Caramelized onion whipped buttermilk cream.
Okay.
So if we take the little bit of juice at the end of a caramelized onion batch before it's completely dry, and we drain that off and we whip that into the buttermilk cream, that's what I want to do.
Yep. It's good. And that should give you the sweetness piece that you're looking for.
Right.
That
That's
added little sweetness
that's gonna be sick.
that's badass. That's badass. And I listen, I am all about the the vanilla chipotle bread pudding.
Yeah,
I'm a sucker for a good bread pudding.
yeah, for sure.
You know, like I I used to overdo bread pudding. You know what I mean?
It's
Um,
all the puddings are so easy. Rice pudding, bread
yes,
pudding, any pudding is so fucking good. And I love custard in all of its forms. And yeah, I'm here for
delicious.
all of it, man. I'm here for all of it. And we could do a chipotle vanilla rice pudding, but I think the bread is going to soak up all the
Yep,
booze. I mean, when people are getting like they're getting 2 ounce pours of these. It's not huge. You know, I'm not sending anyone away sauced except for you and me.
absolutely.
Uh but I do think bread pudding at the end to soak all that up and to go with it, I think that's going to be
It
baller.
just
I
makes
really do.
sense, right?
Yeah, I really think that's a great
I
pairing.
still think that we need to do the espresso cups for the
I
for.
agree totally. I'm going to look in the basement of the place and see if we have those. Pretty sure we do, and if we do, I can almost guarantee we have 18. And if we don't, I'm friends with the guy who owns the coffee shop up the street. I'll hit him up and see if he has any. But our Chipotle vanilla bread pudding, it needs a sauce. It needs an accent, and we have done whipped mascarpone. We've talked about foam. We've done whipped cream. So I'm saying a caramel.
Simple.
Yeah, some sort of a caramel. We can do a whiskey caramel. Actually, we need to do a whiskey caramel because it's rum in this course, so we need to do a whiskey caramel.
I'm in.
Um, yep, that feels really good.
And you know, like I mean, realistically, we can use any whiskey,
Yeah,
like any whiskey to assist with that. But you know what I think would definitely help with that? Devil's cut.
what's Devil's Cut? I've heard of it,
So
but
Jim Beam Devil's Cut. So
okay,
it's like a 94 proofer. It's not anything crazy. But it's so you know when the whiskey's in the barrel and as it ages and you know
right.
the wood moves in and out,
You get the
right?
angels portion or
The
whatever.
angel share that evaporates away. Well, Jim Beam says that the devil's cut is what stays in the wood, and that
Mm,
they've figured out how to extract that from the
okay,
wood staves. So it's like really rich and real just woody, right?
yeah, that sounds
Um,
great.
I used to make a ham glaze with devil's cut, like brown sugar ham glaze with devil's cut, and like just
Nice.
give it that like and it's real oaky and
Yeah,
it's not
yeah, yeah,
overbearing, but it just adds a little extra piece of complexity, right? It's
yeah,
like
yeah.
look
That sounds awesome.
without even changing anything. You just um and it's a super inexpensive bottle. I think it's $22.
Okay,
You know, I've got one back here I can bring to make the caramel. Like
yeah.
I mean, but we don't have to be married to that idea either. It's
No, dude, I
just
love it. I love it. All right, let's go over the whole menu from the top. Let me read through the whole menu, and then we'll go back again and we'll start off course 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and we'll go through everything and make sure we like it. Okay.
okay. Sounds good.
All right, let me read through the whole thing. First course, Granddad Bonded served in a coffee mug with a butternut and apple fritter with whipped mascarpone. Second course, the Bullock Bourbon with burnt orange rice, served underneath of a crispy Szechuan pork belly with possibly some sort of a foam. Third course, Buffalo Trace with a toasted rosemary and almond stuff, or nope, toasted almond and rosemary stuffed. Oh, there's so many words. Toasted almond. Oh, good Lord.
Too many
Toasted
words.
almond and rosemary stuffed. No, it's still not right. Pardon me. There's a lot going on here.
Rosemary and toasted almond stuffed.
Well, well, we've also got maple. So toasted almond, rosemary, and maple stuffed fried chicken. I need to work with that wording. My apologies.
No, you're good.
Uh
That is word vomit if
it's
I've
a
ever
lot of
seen it.
things. and we don't necessarily have to put all of the
Right.
adjectives in the menu, but a toasted maple, maybe no maple toasted almond, rosemary stuffed fried chicken over buckwheat waffles with a caramelized onion whipped buttermilk cream. Word vomit.
Wow.
Then with the Middleton Very Rare, a fig glazed smoked duck breast over cold cannon with spiced balsamic reduction served on charred cedar planks. Pardon me, I need to ejaculate.
Yeah, dude.
And then
I'm excited for that one.
right, and then finally the Kraken coffee rum with chipotle vanilla bread pudding, topped with Devil's Cut whiskey caramel. That's solid. That is a
I,
solid menu.
I'm into that.
So going back through,
I'd pay for that.
I'd pay good money for that. Going back through that, the granddad served in a coffee mug, butter and apple fritter with whipped mascarpone. I've said that wrong for years. The mascarpone needs something. It needs something added to it.
Is that the
Butternut and
fritter?
apple fritter. Yeah, butternut and apple fritter.
Damn it. Fuck. Sorry.
My first thought is like butterscotch, but I don't know how we'd get that in there. We could use like a butterscotch schnapps.
Okay. Yeah, that's not
Actually, I like the idea of on top of that too. I like the idea of doing candied nuts.
okay.
But that butter and apple fritter, dude, that's going to be a dessert for an appetizer right there. That's going to be so freaking good.
Yeah, I think so. I can't believe that I'm about to say this, but what if we what if we do some toasted coconut?
Well, yeah, we could do that in with the nuts. I think do a candied nuts with some coconut in there.
No, I'm saying hide it in the mascarpone.
Oh, okay.
I don't know how that's gonna work. I don't. It's not my favorite thing, but I do know that there's people that like shaved coconut on their butternut squash soup kind of things.
Okay.
Like I've seen that places.
Yeah.
Um, I could see how they would work together. Um, but I don't know that I'm into that. I'm not a big coconut guy.
I'm not either, but I think a little bit in with the nuts, excuse me, would work. Um, I also like the idea of maybe doing some fried apple skins as a garnish.
Okay. Yeah.
Just getting some tweels off of there. But yeah, I think the coconut should go in with the nuts. I don't like putting it in with the mascarpone. Um, yeah, and actually that's enough. We don't need to add anything to the mascarpone. We got so many elements in that. I don't want to overpower anything. I think that's a
Uh,
solid course.
I think that's probably fair.
Yeah,
And we may find out that the coconut and the candied nuts, or the coconut or the candied nuts, might be too much.
right.
But I think that we're on to something there for
Yeah.
sure.
Yeah. No, it sounds like a solid course. The next one is the Bullock bourbon, burnt orange rice with crispy Szechuan pork belly. Now let's talk about this foam.
So there's a couple ways to do it, right? There's solid foam, like you can take something like Parmesan, right? And
Uh-huh.
you take it's like a 4-to-1 ratio, like of Parmesan to water, right? And then you do that and you pull it off, and and you put it in the freezer. Then
Okay.
there's a more liquid type foam, and that requires a whipped cream charge.
Okay.
You just put your liquid in there, and like, if I remember correctly, because you've got your agar or whatever.
Yeah.
I forget what the other one was. And you get a good shake on it before you charge it. It's should in theory create a foam, right? Kind of like the foaming soap pumps,
Uh,
you know. So I got to figure there's got to be an easier way now to do that. From an execution standpoint, I can look into that. um
yeah. Yeah. Maybe get a little more R&D on that and see if it's something we can do. Like I said, it's 18 folks, so it's not, we can probably figure it
right,
out.
but it's just it's an element. I mean,
Yeah. Yeah, and it's cool, and it's something I don't usually fuck with, so I'd enjoy playing with it a little bit.
and that was kind of the thing that, like, I started really really fucking with at the casino with Chef Larry, right? Because he just kind of, hey man, just go figure out. And that's kind
Yeah,
of what I did. And this was
nice.
kind of one of those things that I started messing around with, was this gastronomy stuff a little bit.
That's
Um,
awesome.
but it looks here, three ways to make. Yeah, I can give it. Hold, please.
Yeah, the gastronomy stuff is interesting.
Yeah, it's I had a lot of fun with it, but at that time nobody was really ready for that.
Yeah, yeah.
Yep, whipped cream charger for sure. Um, that's really the nuts and bolts on it.
Yeah, I I I will not guarantee that I can find the one that I have.
Um,
But I'm sure we can get one. If we
looks.
can't find one, we can buy one.
Well, I mean, you didn't need to do all that either,
Yeah,
pal.
well, I don't like to buy things, but
Yeah, well, no, I mean, nobody in our position likes to buy things,
right,
especially one use item things. You know what I mean?
right,
But I know
right.
you would, you and your would for sure find use for it for a second, at least a second time.
Oh, I'm
Um,
sure we would.
but nobody likes to do that. So
Well,
I
we
can
we
I
we
can get
can
back to you on that one.
yeah, yeah, and we can keep that loose and goose. That's fine. Moving into the buffalo trace, the third course. Uh, so let's see if I can say this right. Toasted almond, rosemary, and maple stuffed fried chicken
Boom,
over
first try.
buckwheat waffles with caramelized onion whipped buttermilk cream. I just want to straight up put my penis in that, and it
I'm
sounds
excited
amazing.
for that one. I'm
Yeah,
excited for these two courses. I'm excited
yeah,
for the two quote unquote poultry
yeah,
courses, right? Like,
yeah.
they're both very well put together.
Right. So I think that's solid. And that takes us to the Middleton Very Rare fig glazed smoked duck breast over coal cannon with spiced balsamic reduction served on charred cedar planks. No notes.
No notes.
That sounds good as shit.
I'm into it.
Dude, my phone has been blowing up all day and I don't know why.
I had a bunch of people in and out today.
Oh, really?
Yeah, bunch of visitors today. I love that on a Friday.
Yeah, no doubt.
Is what it is, though. You know what I mean?
Sure. All right. And then after all that, to end the evening, we've got the Kraken coffee rum with a Chipotle vanilla bread pudding with doubles cut whiskey caramel. Dude, this menu is solid as fuck.
Yeah, I believe that wholeheartedly.
This is a good fucking menu.
I am into all of that.
Yep.
Um, like I said, I would pay really good money to sit at your bar and eat this.
Yeah. Yeah. And I mean, we're not charging nothing, but we're not charging the end of the world for this either. I'm checking now to see what we are charging because I don't remember. I did the math and then it left my brain. Plus, I want to give you a shout out and make sure your contributions are appreciated, brother.
You need to do all that, pal. I'm doing this for you, bub.
Yeah, it's $136 a ticket.
Ah, that's not bad.
Nah,
No.
nah, nah. Honestly,
Especially with a $240 bottle of whiskey.
people that come to this gig, they really get a deal because it's something I love to do, and I'm more than happy. Like, you know what? If I don't make a ton of money with this, like, this feeds my soul.
Yeah. And that's really where I'm at with it right now too, it's just the day to day is it's very redundant in my world these days, you know what I
Yeah,
mean? And I was like, man, I really hate the chef struggling, and I wish there was something I could do to help. And then like I continued to watch your Instagram videos, and you had said, "Oh, we've got the whiskey pairing coming up," and I was like, "That's it,
yeah,
right there. That's the one." And I immediately like left Instagram and texted you,
that's
and I
awesome.
said, "Hey, man, like I just want to donate my time. Like that's just whatever I can do to support you."
Oh yeah, man.
Um, and but in reality, it's for me too, to kind of hit the reset button a little bit on things, and
Yeah,
remember why I do what I do. and,
right.
and this is I mean, selfishly for me, that's a big part of it, right?
Good. Hey
um
man, I want you to get something out of it too. I'm not asking for charity. I want it to be
it's
mutually
not about
beneficial.
charity, Bob. It's about lifting each other up
Yeah,
and taking care of one another, and doing things that we've always kind of really been good at doing,
yeah,
and especially in the state of West Virginia, we always make sure we take care of our
yeah,
own,
man,
like,
for sure.
you know, um, and that's really what it is. And I'm super, super excited
Yeah,
to to be helping with this. I really am. It's funny because the night that we talked and you were like, yeah, man, we'll catch up on it in a couple of days. I'm in, let's do it. I'm down here, and I was down here in the man cave, and I was like, man,
yeah.
where? And so I got up and I went over here into the little storage area, and I started digging through stuff. And I was like, well, I gotta find my coats if I'm gonna do this. We're gonna do this the right way, right? So I like pull them all out. I took a picture of him, put googly eyes on it, and I sent it to Chef Larry, and he was like, "What are you doing?"
Oh man, that's great.
Yeah.
He's up in like Erie or something now, right?
He's in Atlantic City right now.
Oh, that's awesome, man. Oh, good people, man. Every year, we have a picture of you, me, and Chef Larry, in front of the Vagabond logo. When I first reopened in the space we're in now, and every year I'm like, man, it just makes me feel so good. It's so great to have you guys come over, and I've always had a great relationship with the staff over there at the track, and I appreciate that, man. That means a lot.
Yeah, man, and it was funny because when I first took the job there, Chef Larry like pulled me in, pulled me under his learning tree relatively quickly.
Yeah,
I was never supposed to be in that situation that I ended up being in. I was just there to help run shifts and make sure that folks that came through the buffet got fed, right?
yeah,
Um, so the fact that I ended up where I did over there is a testament to him,
yeah,
and his belief in me and in the things that I was able to do. And had it not been for any of that, I'd have never met you,
yeah, yeah.
because I would have never been at the chili cook off or
Right.
the beer fest to be for him to be like, hey, when you get out here, I want you to meet this guy, Chef Matt. He was just like, man, he's awesome. And he's like, I think you guys are gonna vibe a lot. And I'm like, yeah, 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 and then I get
Right.
down there, I meet you for the first time, and it there was definitely like instant, hey, this dude's pretty cool,
Right. Yeah, man, for
and
sure.
it's been that way ever since.
Yep.
So it's cool. I'm really super excited. I
Yeah,
can't.
man. When you reached out to me about helping out with this, I was like, oh, that'd be so great. And like, brother, I tell you right now, with no ego at all, this menu would not be half as good without your input.
Well, I appreciate that. I was just like the little set of training wheels on your bike back here, bro. Like you were the engine behind all of this, and I just got to get to take what little bit I know and the risks that I'm not scared to take and kind of throw them out there and
Well, it's a
see if
good
it sticks.
collaboration, man. I mean,
I think
just
so.
just bouncing ideas off of each other. Like I said in the beginning, like, hey, maybe this, maybe that. What do you think? Like, oh, you think this? Okay, well, that makes me think that. Like, it's wonderful shit, man. That's why that's why we do what we do.
Absolutely.
I love it. I love it 100%, man. I definitely, I think we should keep this up, and we should, maybe, if not this event, pick an event that's ours to do every year, man.
I'm
Uh,
into that, dude. I would really, really enjoy being able to have the opportunity to collaborate with you every year and
yeah, yeah,
and
absolutely.
and, and more importantly, get to spend some time with you and just have that opportunity to check in on one another.
Yeah,
And I think we do a pretty good job, man. Like it's two ships passing in the night. I think we do a pretty good job of keeping in touch. There's been plenty of times where, especially I remember even during COVID, when COVID first started happening,
yeah,
you were the first industry guy to reach out to me and you were like, "Hey man, are you all right?"
yeah,
And I was like, "Yeah, man, I'm doing well. It's crazy." And like, I appreciated that, and, that's just kind of really where we've been ever
yeah,
since the day that we met, man. It's just making sure that we kept tabs on one another, and I
right.
never stopped watching you and never
Yep.
stopped supporting you. And I know that anytime anybody's like, "Hey, I know you used to live up here, blah blah blah, you gotta go to Vagabond Kitchen."
Hell yeah.
Every time, whether they go there or not, that's on them. But I
Right.
mean, I know that's
Right.
where I'm sending folks.
No, that's much appreciated, man.
Um, but I would love to have the opportunity to get to do something with like this with you every year.
Yeah.
Moving forward, I think that this part of it has been awesome, right? Just getting to kind of just bounce things off of one another and really kind
Well,
of get those creative juices flowing.
and that's what I love about recording this whole thing and throwing it out there to everybody. Like, this is what creating a menu looks like. Like, it's a lot of like, yeah, it's a lot of experience, and it's a lot of like using different resources. And it's a really good time. I love creating the menus.
Yeah, and this is definitely something that I've not had to do in a very, very long time, right?
Yeah.
And it's funny because Christmas time, I think it was just last week, popped up on my memories. I was working on the New Year's Eve stuff um for the executive team over there, you know what I mean? And
Yeah.
had my shit all spread out everywhere and I had all these like different things scratching out and oh, we're gonna do this, we're gonna do that. I was like, man, that was so fun being able
Yeah.
to do that stuff. And now here we are,
Yep.
you know,
Absolutely,
and
man.
and it's awesome.
Hell yeah.
So,
All right.
but
Well, now we just need to sell out of all these seats and make this shit happen.
well, I will. I'll start blowing. You put the thing up the other day.
What's that? You're breaking up
You
a little
put
bit.
the. I said you put the Facebook thing up the other day, right?
Yeah, yeah. We've been putting it on Facebook, but
So I will. I'll grab it and I'll blast it on my end.
yeah,
And I'll make sure that I do that every day.
yeah,
See
yeah.
if I can't help because I still do have some friends and family up that way that I think would be willing to come and
Well, and I think a lot of people kind of wait to see what the menu is going to be, and like, yeah, we are in the ninth inning here, and just finally putting the menu together. But shit's been crazy.
yeah, man. I mean, you're obviously dealing with your challenges. I'm dealing with my challenges, and we've still got businesses to run, and
Right.
we've still got people to take care of, and I think that I honestly think that the fact that we are in the ninth inning, I think is really gonna show through. Once we are able to put those plates in front of folks sitting around your bar.
Oh, dude, this is
I
going to be an awesome, awesome event.
I'm so very very excited.
Yeah.
It's going to be fantastic, and I can't wait to be a part of it. I'm glad to be a part of
Well,
it. Makes me real happy to be a part of it.
not that anyone's still going to be watching at this point when I publish this, but I'm curious for myself. You said you had a podcast as well. Can you tell me a little bit more about that?
Yeah, it's a pro wrestling podcast.
Oh, cool.
Yeah, me and a couple of my buddies do it. We do it on it's a YouTube based thing. We don't have a ton of subscribers, but like
Yeah,
the
it's just fun.
yeah, it's just a chance to get to sit down and bullshit with my friends once a week.
Hell yeah, man.
About something that we all enjoy, and like it's weird because I'm the bridge between the two of them, right? Like they never met each other until we started doing this podcast.
Yeah.
And now the three of us do a lot of things together. Like, when WWE or AEW or TNA, whatever shows up in Pittsburgh or wherever, like we go. And that's a chance for us to kind of get to hang out and do the thing. Um, you know, uh, I'm not out here trying to make millions off of my podcast,
Right.
and I think that shows through, that we're not out here trying to force
Right.
the issue on anything.
Right.
Um, it's really just a passion project, and if people happen to join us, I appreciate the fuck out of them.
That's awesome, man.
It's solely based on YouTube right now, just because, I'm busy, and
Right.
to edit audio and make sure that it makes it over to the audio side was very time consuming.
Sure.
And then for a little while, I stopped editing audio and just took the raw whatever it was and just dropped it in the audio feed. And we had a pretty decent little audience on the audio side, far stronger than our YouTube side. But I committed to myself that after the first of the year, I was going to get it back out on the audio side and see what happens.
Hey, right on, man. That's awesome.
Yeah, but it's just fun, man, and it's great to just get to hang out with my friends.
Right.
We use StreamYard for it, which is awesome.
Yeah. Yeah, a good
great.
friend of mine, Chef Plum, has a podcast out of Connecticut, New York City, and he uses StreamYard, and that works really well. That's on Thursday nights, so I'm going to invite you to come join me on that at some point.
Absolutely. I would love to do that and just kind of get to talk and shoot shit. And
Yeah,
I'm
sure.
all about that. And I mean, I'd let you come on the old One Fall Wrestlecast, but I mean, they knew we got time for that.
Dude, I don't know shit about wrestling, so no offense, but
no, none taken,
I'm
man.
trying to
None
get
taken.
my thing going again on Sunday nights, and we'll see how that goes. But if it's possible, we'll make it happen. And I plan on throwing this up this Sunday night as one of our episodes, because why not?
Well, I wore my Blackwater Falls hat for you. I don't know if you noticed that.
Yeah, I did notice it.
Oh, because I mean, that's my favorite place to take the kids
That's
and my
awesome,
wife and the Jeep and just go and hit Canaan Loop and
hell yeah.
just enjoy all that.
Canaan Loop is a magical place, man.
It is a magical place.
Hell yeah.
It is a magical place. And just enjoy what our beautiful state has to offer. And it's only like an hour and a half away from our house. We'll go camp overnight. It's just it's a great place to go. And but I was laying here on this couch over here down, and I saw that maybe I wasn't. I was drunk somewhere. Whenever I found, I was at my neighbor's house. Whenever I found out that you got the executive chef job for all the state parks.
Oh yeah,
so dope, bro.
Thanks, brother.
That is the most vagabond chef job that there could be, right? Like
that's true. Yep.
I mean, you get to do what you love in the place that you love.
Right.
It's so dope, bro.
It's a great gig, man, and I love what I do with them. And we're really turning shit around, and we're making a lot of headway.
So dope. I don't know how the fuck you have the time to do all that stuff.
I don't, but I'm figuring it out somehow.
It's like between the wife and the kid and the kitchen and now this and
right.
You got your little YouTube show that I haven't seen an episode in a while of unless I missed it. I mean, bro, you're doing it, man.
Go big or go home. That's all I know to do.
Fucking doing it, bro. And it's funny because I had dinner with one of the support team members today.
Yeah.
I was out doing trade outs our Christmas parties this weekend and for my staff. And so I was out like trading, peddling my steak and potatoes to all the neighbors. Give me free stuff in exchange for a meal. And she called and she's like, I want to go have a beer. And I said, I'm like doing trade outs. She's like, I want to go have a beer. I was like, okay. So then we started talking, and that's it. She was like, I was like, yeah, so I got this thing at 9:00 with my buddy Matt. Like, we got to do, and I was explaining it to her, and she was like, oh, that's really cool. I was like, yeah. I said, he did this thing. He won Guys Grocery Girl. She started talking about diners, drive-ins, and dives. She's
Yeah.
like, I'm in a rabbit hole right now, and I was like, oh, that's cool. I said, my buddy has been petitioning pretty hard to get Guy Fieri to come to downtown Wheeling,
Yeah.
and do an episode there. And she was like, oh yeah. I said, yeah, he won an episode of Guys Grocery Games, and she was like, nah. I said, yeah. She goes, I've never missed an episode, and I said, I mean, it was like, I don't know, 5 years ago, maybe, but,
Yeah.
you
Yeah.
know, and
Probably.
she was like, nah. I said, yeah. And she was like, what episode? I said, bro, I don't remember. Like, I
Right.
just know that
Right.
it's there. And,
Right.
and I see Matt's face whenever I want to find it. Like, it might take me 30 minutes, but I find it.
Right.
And so I text you, and there's sure shit. There you were.
Did you find it?
Yeah, she had the Food Network app on her phone.
Nice. There you go. There you go.
Found it like instantly on her phone. So
Yeah, I think I'm gonna burn a bridge there because they asked me to come back for a Father's Day episode like later that year. And dude, oh man, he was wrecked. He's got a lot of shit replaced since then. His right hip, his right knee, his right shoulder. They fused the first like 6 vertebrae of his spine. But like my father was a working man. He was a steel worker. He worked his ass off. He beat the shit out of himself. And they reached out to me after that episode, and they said, you know, come back for a Father's Day episode. And I said, no. My dad can't survive the flight, let
yeah,
alone like the episode. So I'm not going to do it. And I think I really burnt a bridge there.
that sucks. But I
And it's what
mean,
it is, man.
but that's what I was just getting ready. It sucks, but like it is what it is, right? Like you made the right decision,
Yeah.
you know. Um,
I truly my biggest fear, like I don't want dad to hear that because he'd be wrecked. My old man would be wrecked if he heard that like he curtailed, you know, my whatever in any way, you know. And like it's not about that. It's just
oh,
I know this would be bad for you. I know at the time he could not do it. I'm like, there's no fucking way. There's no fucking way.
you had to do what was best for your situation. You know what I
Right.
mean? But like you said, dad wouldn't take it that way.
Right. But I mean, it was a great opportunity. What I did, and I'm thankful for it. And you know, who knows what will happen, you know, in the long term.
Yeah, no doubt, no doubt. So dope, bro.
Yeah,
Fucking doing it, man. You know.
I'm lucky, man. I've got some pretty great
Hey
ideas,
pal, hey pal.
yeah,
I'm here to tell you, luck ain't got shit to do with it. Okay, you wake up every day and you put fucking foot to ass and you get shit done. Okay, luck
yeah,
don't got fucking nothing to do with nothing.
yeah. I think luck has a little bit of something to do
You're
with it,
being
but
humble right now, and I appreciate it. Okay, but it, I'm gonna just move that out of the way, and I'm just
well,
gonna call it like I see it.
regardless of all that, I'm excited about our killer fucking menu for this event.
Me too, pal.
And I just hope we sell the shit out of these tickets and get to do a really cool thing
Wow.
because I want to eat this food.
I want to eat this food. I mean,
Yeah, it's
yeah.
killer. It's killer. And I hope that if anyone is watching, or still watching, did watch at all, like see the behind the scenes how chefs come up with a menu, you know, what we go through and how we put shit together. Personally, I think it's super fucking cool and I love it. But
Great time, man. Great time.
oh yeah, brother.
I mean, it's definitely, like you said earlier in the ninth inning and in the crunch time piece, but man, I think that it's gonna really, really shine bright once it hits the table.
Oh yeah.
So I appreciate everything, Bob.
All right, brother. Well, I will talk to you soon and we'll make this shit happen.
Absolutely. And don't
We,
forget, I'm clean slate after
yeah.
Tuesday. So
Okay.
we can work with anything from there.
Yeah, sounds great, man. Push it out to your people and we'll do it, man.
Absolutely. Looking forward to it, Bob.
All right. Thank you, brother.
Yes, sir. Thank you.
Have a good night.
You too.